Father of Education. A title that will continue to be attached to an unpretentious educator who is willing to take off his nobility robe in order to be humble and blending with others. But rarely do we know, before initiating our philosophy of education, he started his journey as an activist, a fighter, and a journalist who was smart and sharp in criticizing the invaders. Do you know who that is? Yes, he is Ki Hajar Dewantara. Born into a noble family with the name Raden Mas Suwardi Suryaningrat, he has privilege that other children don't have. In his youth, he had the opportunity to go to medical school in Batavia. However, due to his sickness, he had to skip class and had his scholarship revoked. Although this revocation is also suspected that there's a political motive behind it. But failed to become a doctor doesn't necessarily make him lose his way. In fact, he found a new power, armed with paper and pen. Suwardi's writing attracted the attention of two other youths who were also involved in the movement, Dr. Cipto and Does Dekan. These three then worked together to spread the idea of an independent Indonesia through the first political party in Nusantara, named Indis Partage. Then, Suwardi was increasingly fierce in criticizing the injustice that befell his nation. At its peak, he wrote a sharp critique aimed at the colonial nation with the title Als ik is Nederlander was, which translates to If I Were a Dutchman. It's a very ironic writing satirizing the independence of the Dutch people on the land that they were colonized, at the cost that the oppressed people also had to pay. The face and ears of the Dutch were red. Suwardi's writing was considered outrageous. Together with his colleague, they were exiled to the Netherlands. His body may be exiled, but the embers in the strong soul are burning. In the midst of exile, Suwardi was actually enlightened. He learned the idea of education from other big figures. Returning to his hometown, Suwardi still faced a steep road. He again had to deal with the colonial government. Unfortunately, this time he had to be locked up in jail. From behind the bars, Suwardi was restless after hearing the news that his wife was sick after giving birth to their third child. And then, this was the turning point. One day, when his wife was visiting him in the prison, his wife said, "Suwardi, you must always remember your promise to your teacher that you will educate your people in order to help this country become independent." "Yes, of course, my wife. After I'm free, I will try my best. I will build a school named Taman Siswa." The way of struggle that he chose to strengthen his people is with the greatest weapon, which is education. After being freed, he also changed his name into Ki Hajar Dewantara. His dream was very big and beyond the time. The goals of achieving independence was not only for the freedom from the invaders, but also from the stupidity that imprisoned him. this is the biggest contribution that made him remembered as the father of education in Indonesia. The struggle against the invader wasn't always using weapons, but the story of a common doctor who defends his people, or the story about the activist who diligently criticize, or maybe even the story about the educator who is willing to leave his comfort zone. And this reminds us that struggle is about having big dreams. And now, it is our turn to determine big dreams and aspirations for Indonesia in the future. Ing Ngarso sung Tulodo, ing Madyo Mangun Karso. Tut Wuri Handayani. Thank you for listening my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.